you cannot be in the flesh and please God.
Yeah.
That the flesh is in enmity with God. Of a truth, the Lord God is a sun and He's a shield. He gives grace and He gives glory, and no good thing will He withhold from them that walk uprightly. Hello, good people. You're welcome to another inspiring episode of the Youth Arena Show. I am Sanctified Akko, and I'm super excited to be doing this with you today. Today on the show, we'll be discussing the topic film, a tool for evangelism. The 21st century in which we find ourselves is one powered by artistic works and technology. Through the medieval period, churches in Europe frequently performed mystery plays, retelling the stories of the Bible. They developed from representation of stories with accompanying songs as these liturgical plays became more popular. More vernacular or everyday elements were introduced and non-clergy began to participate. As the dramas became increasingly secular, they began to be performed entirely in the vernacular and were moved out of the churches by the 13th to 14th century. The mystery play developed into a series of plays dealing with all the major events in the Christian calendar from day to day. By the end of the 15th century, the tradition of acting these plays in circles on festival days were established across Europe. To discuss more with us on this insightful topic is Levite Shidok Marcus Dawa. He is a young and vibrant film producer. He's a director and is also an actor. You're welcome, Levite.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you.
The pleasure is mine.
So can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you started film?
It all started in church from the ACNN, that's the Anglican Children Ministry.
Okay.
Then we were asked to do plays in church during special occasions and during harvest.
Okay.
And my dad also happens to be somebody who is into drama.
Okay.
Though presently he doesn't do much of it. Though I know I had picked up some books from his shelf that talked about drama. That is where the interest all started from. And from there we started doing drama. We took it to school, and before you know it, boom, we're here.
Wow, beautiful. Okay, so you could say your dad is your first mentor.
Yeah.
Okay.
My dad is my first mentor.
Okay, so who are the other people who have mentored you in film production?
In film
who have inspired
production?
You? Yes.
For inspiration, I would say the likes of Tyler Perry.
Okay.
The likes of Tyler Perry, the likes of Mike Bamiloe, the likes of Mike Abola, the likes of Toka McBarrow.
Okay.
Yeah, those are few people who have inspired me over time. But in terms of mentorship, I have not really had the opportunity to sit one-on-one with these names and to be mentored. So 75% to 85% of everything I know and I practice today, I learned from online, from YouTube.
Okay, wow, beautiful. Okay, so could you tell us exactly what film is? And tell us a little bit about the history, the origin and the background of film in churches today.
Film is a collection of audiovisual plays which are being displayed following a narrative.
Okay, beautiful.
When you come to the issue of film in church, I would say it started with the likes of Mike Bamiloe.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to mention the likes of Tunde Kalani, but Mike Bamiloe has been a major force when it comes to Christian filmmaking, talking about Mount Zion.
Yeah.
And it started around 1992 when he made his first film. Later on, he did his second film and it gained him recognition. And a good numbers of us are living testimonies to the impact that these films have made in our lives over the years.
Okay. So, okay, you're talking about in Nigeria here.
Yeah, in Nigeria.
Okay, do you have an idea of a general history and origin of film and how it started in churches?
In churches, there are different school of thought to as how film got into the church.
Okay.
But one of the school of thought is a school of thought that suggests that during the dark eras, the actors were considered vagabonds in church and they were not allowed to participate in the Holy Communion. But the time came, and when the church discovered that film has this impact on people and it has a way of bringing people together, they had to bring it back to the church and use it as more of a tool to the advantage of the church rather than disadvantage of the church. And if you check online, you'll see journals like the instrument of the devil. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the instrument of the devil is now against the devil. It's just talking about the old era of Hollywood. We could call it the golden era of Hollywood, where Christian films like Ben-Hur and The Passion of Christ came into play. And these films became even more powerful and sold out in box office, even more than conventional Hollywood films.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, that's true. So what inspired this line of career in you?
My inspiration, as a person, as a Christian, as a believer, I believe that each and every one of us are brought into earth for a purpose. And for me, one of those purposes is to preserve a generation for God. Now, for me, the only visible way I see myself preserving a generation for God is by using motion pictures, that's film, to convey the message of Christ, appealing to youth and older audiences. I tell people this most of the times when I get to churches and other events when I get invited, given the opportunity. I tell them that where a film goes is beyond the filmmaker. So my film could travel across the borders and get to places I can't really go to. It goes to villages like that. You must not necessarily go to those places. But with an instrument like film, it can go viral and appeal to even the weakest person you even thought it could appeal to.
Yes, you know, the power of entertainment is that it passes through your consciousness and is able to infiltrate your subconscious, even without your permission. And that's what makes it all powerful, you know. That's what, you know, anything that can influence you without your permission is what we call powerful. And, you know, that's exactly what film does. Because when you're just there concentrating, looking at the film, you're just carried away, and before you know, your mind is being reset in ways that you cannot tell. So I must say you're doing a very good job.
Thank you, ma'am.
Keep preserving the generation for Jesus.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so knowing fully well that secular film pays more than Christian films, why did you insist on doing Christian films?
Firstly, I'll say is as a result of my background.
Okay.
The scripture says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he won't depart from it. My parents have been a great encouragement and a motivating factor to my line of career. Though when it started, they weren't cool with it. They wanted the conventional, okay, be an engineer, or be a doctor, that kind of a thing, but film is me and I'm film. And aside film, I don't see myself doing any other thing. And when it comes to monetary value, I am very, very keen with impact rather than money. That doesn't still take away the fact that money is the force that drives content making. Because fame is money and money is fame. You can't take away, you can't separate the two. You need money to make films.
And film make money.
And film make money. That's how it works. So even as a Christian filmmaker, there's a conscious need for you to have money to be able to make content. For me, it's all about sacrifice. The souls come first. Money can stay at the back. And you know, there's something I like to say when you talk about money. You know, you cannot take out money, but I also understand that the gift of people, you know, the gift of people, there are things, maybe you need to rent a camera, but someone have seen what you do, like, and is inspired, likes it, he could just give you that camera to use. But that's very rare in a setting like Nigeria. But it happens. I'm sharing a personal, like, things that happen to me personally. You know, once there's that drive, there's that passion, and people, and there's something about passion, people can relate, people can see it, and they just want to sow into what you're doing. Okay, so there's this, your latest film, Off the Hook. Yeah.
What inspired it?
I got off the hook. I got inspired by the recent happenings in church.
Okay.
I'm a member of the AYF, and there are certain relationships that I've come to observe over the years.
AYF, what's that?
Anglican Youth Fellowship.
Okay.
Am I talking too much about my church, or I could just go on?
No. I just want us to know what AYF means.
Okay.
Yes.
I got to discover that a good number of people engage in relationships, and at the end of the day, when there's a fallout, you discover that, especially the male counterpart, they come out and saying things like, she forced herself on me. She was always coming. I wasn't interested, but she kept coming. So that inspired my story, the narrative. But I wanted something people could easily relate to. That is why I had to use a priest as an instrument in telling my story.
Okay.
So you see in the movie, you see instances where Umaira kept coming to the priest, going after him. Some people will tell you that it wasn't his fault, because that's one of the school of thought that audience have sold back to us. Because I like opening up my film for critics. And that's one of the things that people have been saying. But the initial message I wanted to pass across was that if you are not interested in a relationship, state it.
Clearly.
State it clearly and cut off every ties that links you up with the person. The book of 1 Corinthians chapter 15 verse 33 tells us that do not be deceived, evil communication corrupts good manners. So you can't keep playing around with the devil, playing around with his works, and
say you want to be free from
and you want to be free.
consequence.
Yes, so it doesn't really work like that. And one of the key things I intend to pass across in that theme is that modern day Christians believe so much in grace. I'm not against grace.
Yes.
But the book of Ecclesiastes 10:8 tells us that he who breaks the hedge, the serpent will bite. So we cannot what should I call it? We cannot infuse grace in the place of decision making.
Yes.
You know it's wrong and you choose to do it because there's grace to speak for you.
Yes.
And that is what we see in practical display in the film.
Yes.
That's what we see in practical display. I tell people anywhere I go to, there are certain things you do in life that God will forgive you,
But the consequences.
but you would live with the daring consequences for the rest of your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Talking about relationships, we must learn to define our relationship.
Yes.
Because especially for the female counterpart, especially in a country or on this side of the world where women don't really verbally express themselves as to who they are liking.
Yeah.
It's very important for men to be able to define, okay, what are we doing together? Okay, this is our relationship. What is the end product of it?
Where we're heading to.
Yes, what are we doing? Okay.
Yeah.
So because you will be shocked that somebody is coming to you for prayers, but in their mind they have married you and given birth to children. But that's in their mind. So I think that story just passed that message, and well done. It's
Thank you
powerful
very much,
one.
ma'am.
Yeah. So why the approach? Why do you like to use suspense? And tell us about it.
For me, I want to change the narrative.
Okay.
I want to change the narrative. And one of the tools I could use in storytelling to change the narrative when it comes to Christian fame and fame globally or generally, especially when it has to do with the Nigerian audience, is suspense. A good number of Nigerian audience will tell you that the moment I see a film title, I know the end of the story.
That's true.
They tell you, okay, from this film title, this is what the end is going to be. But I try as much as possible to use the element of suspense to make my story extremely tight and waterproof.
Yeah.
In such a way that you could watch halfway down the film
And still not
be able to predict it. It's so, okay, let me not use the word so good with it. I'm so keen on using suspense that I could stage suspense in the story down to the end of the story.
Wow.
And again, as a person, I don't really like the fact that Christian films per se leave the audience with just an option.
Yes.
So you see 75% of the Christian home videos we see, at the end of the day, the person gives his life to Christ.
Yes.
I'm not against it. I feel that if we must come to that place that we want to come to in Christian filmmaking, then we must open up, diversify it. Every film must not be about rapture.
Okay.
Every film must not be about rapture.
Okay.
We could make films on business. We could make films on relationship. We could make films on we could make motivational films.
Yes.
But one thing should be sure: Christ should be preached in the film.
Yes.
That is what I hope to achieve by making content. So at the end of the day, I leave them on a hook.
Yes, to think about it.
Yeah, think about it and make your decisions. Should you go with Father Cahill? Or should we go with Umaira's decision? Or what should happen to Father Cahill? What is the other priest saying about what happened to Father Cahill? And that is what we all see in display in the film Off the Hook.
Wow, I must say it's a very interesting one, and it's one full of creativity. Yes, creativity is the word. Well done.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, so what challenges did you face in that particular production?
Challenges, when it comes to Christian films, usually 75% of the challenges we face is funds.
Okay,
yeah.
funds.
Yeah,
okay.
funds. Getting funds to make a film. I would say the film was made out of sacrifice.
Okay.
And when I talk about sacrifice, I talk about deep sacrifices. I remember when we started years back, it got to a point where my sister we had to use my sister's school fees to make a film.
Wow.
And we had made the film, and somehow the film was not able to come out. The film was not able to come out, and like that. So when it comes to Christian films, usually funding is a key challenge, is a major challenge. And another thing we face is spiritual attacks. I've written stories that at the end of the day I can't sleep. I throw them away, I sleep. But the moment they are with me, I can't sleep. Like that.
Wow, so do you think that in the area of finance and any other challenge that you would have faced, do you think the church has been supportive?
Well, supportive. My local church has been trying.
Okay.
They've been trying, especially in terms of individuals.
Okay.
But the church globally and the church, our church, when it comes to the Anglican church, I feel they could do more. We could do more in the aspect of encouraging filmmakers.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so tell us those things that you think that they can do.
Now, one of the things that they could do is to open up the church.
Okay.
Open up the church. We've seen instances where you make a film, and because you're not from a certain diocese, you go to another diocese and the doors are shut against you.
Wow. Okay.
And
in the same church.
Yeah, in the same church.
Okay.
While we've also seen instances where in the church, because you're not from a particular denomination,
okay,
the doors are shut against you.
Okay.
We have also seen instances where people are not encouraged to get Christian films. I was somewhere over the weekend and I decided to take statistics of people who watch Christian films, and believe you me, in a church of about 60 people, just 3 persons had a Christian film in their house. So the church can do more by sensitizing members to get copies of Christian films and Christian materials.
So what are some of the ways that you feel you can overcome this particular challenge? Do you think that social media could be a way out?
Social media, you know, when it comes to the issue with social media.
The reason I'm asking is because, you know, even Nollywood today is becoming, people are hardly buying cassettes to watch. But sometimes when you go on Facebook, you see some of these films and then they are linked to YouTube. So if you watch maybe a minute or two and you're interested, you can follow. So do you think that young people who are interested in film production can use this tool also? That's what I mean. Yes,
you know, people talk about YouTube, people talk about social media marketing a lot, but there's more to social media marketing.
Okay.
The issue with platforms like YouTube is the moment you're not able to meet up the criteria for you to monetize your channel, people see your film for free. And meeting up these criteria demands funds.
Okay.
In fact, when it comes to Facebook alone, you would have to sponsor your post for you to get to a larger audience.
Tell us a little bit about these criteria.
The criteria when it comes to film distribution.
Yes, to monetize.
To monetize.
Yes.
I think the last time I checked, because I'm not for now, I'm not a fan of YouTube.
Okay.
Yes. you have to have 1,000 subscribers.
Okay.
And
wow,
I think
that's
about
huge.
100 hours of view, 100 hours of view thereabouts, if not more than.
Okay.
Yes.
100 hours.
But when it comes to Nollywood, they have films that go to the cinema.
Okay.
Their films goes to the cinema, and like the last movie shot by Funke Akindele made over 600 million from the cinema. That's from the
Yes.
box office review.
Yes.
Christian films don't go to the cinema
Why?
because people don't go to the cinema to see Christian films.
Okay.
Now, these are practical aspects where the church can encourage people to go out to see Christian films. Because if people don't go out to see these films and Christian filmmakers are not able to recoup back the finances that they use in making this content, they would either tap out of the profession because of frustration, or they may leave certain denominations and go to certain denominations because they feel that is where they are more welcomed.
Yes, exactly.
So the church
that happens a lot with music too.
It's
Yes.
general when it comes
Yes.
to media and the church.
Yes. Okay. Wow, that's a serious issue. What do you think the church can do concerning this?
For me, I feel that the church has potential to move talented people, towards success, because we have platforms. We've seen conferences, we've seen crusades where we're having over 20,000 people in one place. Now that's a very, very good avenue to play a film. To encourage people to support these filmmakers.
Yes.
But we don't see it in display. We've had instances where you go for gatherings like that and you're not even given a slot.
Yes, to even perform a drama.
Yes, I feel that the church has gotten to a point where they have fully encouraged the musical industry more compared to the film. When it comes to film, you practically have to beg for slots.
Yes.
But when it comes to music, you get invited.
And even paid.
And even paid heavily.
Yes, but as a young minister, something I've learned over time is to learn to liaise and befriend the older generation. Sometimes, I know what I'm saying.
Okay.
Sometimes because of, there's a way they're already looking at you. There's a way they already think you are small and don't really know what you are doing. But by the time you begin to liaise and begin to explain gradually and begin to show your purpose, your intent, people begin to pick interest.
Can I say something briefly?
Okay.
Okay, I think I should use this medium to appreciate Bishop Praises Omole of the St. Francis of Assisi Theological Seminary over there in Zaire. Okay. Back then when I was still in college, he has been a major driving force to me being in this industry. He has supported, he has encouraged. In fact, when we went for Joshua's Generation, I think he sponsored it.
Wow. He
sponsored it. So if we're having more bishops like that who could actually encourage us, give us a slot in your programs and we'll be good.
Okay, wow, that's beautiful. Okay, so what ways do you think that film can become a tool for evangelism? Give us some of the practical ways.
Practical ways. Now, the practical ways that film can be used as a tool for evangelism is by having a drama group in every church.
Okay.
Now, this drama group will encourage the pastor. They will help the pastor translate Sunday sermons into plays.
Yes.
Into playlets like that. That could be either played before sermon or after sermon. While we could also see that in display in churches like Assemblies of God, where they have film weekends. They have film weekends.
Yeah.
They have Sundays where they just come to church in the evening and everybody comes see a film and they discuss the film and they go. We have seen this over time. A good number of people have given their life to Christ.
Yes.
I know some programs that I have hosted years back, especially when I was in college, where after drama presentations, we see people giving their life to Christ. We see manifestations. We have done dramas and at some point, everybody is broken. So drama is very, very powerful. It's very, very powerful. And it could actually give us more results if we're willing to key into it and bring it more into the church. It's in the church. I'm not saying it's not in the church. It's in the church. But in some places, it's kind of too underrated.
Yes.
In some places, drama groups are underrated. Choir and other groups are taken more serious compared to drama
so
groups.
given your time, you started drama for quite a while, film production for quite, how many years now?
Serious. The first time I was on set was in 2008.
Okay.
2008.
That's over 10 years.
Yes.
So given your over a decade experience in film production, what lessons have you learned, and what legacy do you think that you are ready to begin to pass to young film producers coming after you?
Now, the first thing I've learned from my experience as a filmmaker over the years is nobody would believe you until you believe yourself. Because you go out there, and I've seen filmmakers who tell me that nobody is willing to give me funds to make my Christian film. And I see them with expensive phones, I see them with expensive wristwatches, I see them with flashy clothes and all of that. If you must succeed in this industry, you must learn to sacrifice. Especially when it comes to the Christian film industry, you must learn to sacrifice. If you're not ready to sacrifice, then I don't just know. You have instances where you go for programs and nobody will give you anything.
Yes.
You have instances whereby you would prepare for plays and they will cancel it in the midst of the service and they'll tell you they don't have time for it. So you must learn to prove yourself that you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's one. Two, you must be able to communicate your vision clearly.
Yeah.
Clearly, not that we see you today here, we see you there tomorrow. More of like you're on a Nollywood set today and you're on a Christian set tomorrow. So you must just take a decision, take a stand like that.
Exactly. Wow, it's been such an interesting time here with you on the studio. But just before we let you go, you know, Off the Hook, when it aired on TV here, there were a lot of questions. Why did he end it that way? When should we expect the part 2? And why didn't he make us feel like Jesus should have the final say? Why did he end it that way? Please answer these questions.
Okay, for Off the Hook, Off the Hook, it was done on purpose.
Okay.
I decided to leave the people on a hook.
Okay.
On a hook, as the title of the film suggests. On a hanger.
Okay.
There are different school of thoughts. We have audiences who have given us feedbacks because after the film was made, we had to send private copies to individuals to actually see before the film actually goes out there. And some of these people have the perspective that, let's leave it here.
Okay.
While a good number of people are saying, no, the supremacy of Jesus is not expressed. While some people are saying that, is this a direct attack on the Catholic Church? It's not.
Okay.
It's not a direct attack. Now, one of the things we did was we made sure that when the priest had given in to the devil, we brought in another priest to come salvage him out.
Okay.
Now, but the bringing of the cultural representative, that is Father Musa, to come back at the city scene where he is asked, where Father Kahil is asked, do you believe in Jesus and his power to save? And Father Kahil is like, I believe in Jesus, I don't want to die, please help me out. And Father Kahil, Father Musa is like, even Jesus cannot save you. It's just a hook. It's a hook. We intend to continue the movie.
Okay.
Pending when we get sponsors. And
Oh, so you're trying to put us...
No, not really.
Are you trying to put us on ransom, or what are you doing?
No. I'm not putting anyone on ransom, but
Okay.
But if I could get sponsors, why not?
Okay.
I have a lot of content coming in this year.
Okay.
Show Me God. Show Me God is an amazing piece.
Okay.
I got the lucky ones. I want to talk about complicated issues that could actually make lots of impact. And we're also looking at the sequel for Off the Hook.
Okay.
So we're trusting and believing
that's
God for
beautiful, and
for a
I must
miracle.
say you are doing extremely well for the body of Christ, and you're inspiring young people. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you very
So
much.
just before you go, could you just tell us, how do we get to meet you if we want to contact you, and your last words of advice to young people out there?
Okay, you could follow me up on social media at LSM Dower.
Okay.
On Facebook, then LSM Dower on IG.
Okay.
Those are the two platforms I use for now.
Okay.
And you could also send me a mail at lsmdowersfilm@gmail.com.
Okay.
My phone number is on my page, so you could get that if you would
Okay.
want to discuss
Okay.
and ask questions. I'm always open for questions.
Thank you.
My final advice to every person watching out there is to say that there's an impact that media makes on each and every one of us. We may choose to shy away from it, but I would want everyone to know that the reason why you dress the way you dress, the reason why you speak the way you speak, the reason why you have a certain haircut, a certain hairstyle, a certain pattern of clothes is because of the effects of media. I've seen instances where people watch movies and they take pictures of people and their dress and their looks and their hairstyle,
yes.
and they come to the salon and tell the barber, hey, make me this dress, make me do this haircut for me, like that. So it is very, very vital and important that we as Christians as believers, we're very, very mindful of the kind of media content we consume. Because I was somewhere and the person was preaching and he said that it's as if after you've preached a very amazing sermon and people are crying on the floor and all of that, they get outside the church and it's as if there's this devil who steals the message away from them. It's because of these things that we've allowed into our life. The movies we watch, the music we listen to, the pictures we screen, the books we read. I'm very, very keen about books. I'm keen about music. I'm keen about movies. So if you could write all these things in your life, get good Christian materials to always listen to always watch, to always read, and having sermons from churches, then your life is going to be very balanced. I pray that God will help us in Jesus' name.
A balanced life is a life in Christ.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank
God
you
bless
very
you.
much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. All right, viewers, we'll take a very quick break, and when we return, we'll meet our artist for the week. Stay tuned.
Now streaming, now analyzing, now assessing, now discussing, now sharing your thoughts on everything and every issue that affects you. ACNN's Now Streaming discusses the issues trending and the matters that matter to us all. Join us every Monday to Friday at 10 a.m. on ACNN as we go in depth into every issue that impacts our lives, our communities, and our country.
You're welcome back, and in case you're just joining us, this is the Youth Arena Show, and we are on to the Youth of the Week segment. Our Youth of the Week is a young entrepreneur who is thriving despite the harsh economic situation of our dear country. Hello, can we meet you?
Okay, my name is Onyechi Fezwe.
Okay.
I'm passionate about what I do.
Okay.
I'm an entrepreneur and I'm a fashion designer and a makeup artist.
Wow, beautiful.
Yeah.
So how did you begin?
Okay.
When did you learn?
I started with makeup first.
Okay.
That was in my university days.
Okay.
I was in 200 level or so. So I didn't want to stay home for the break and not do anything. And again, I'm someone who knows that, yes, that God has blessed my hands.
Okay.
And so I love to do handworks and all the others. So I decided to go into makeup. Okay. And I learned with Mascoteda Makeup School in Abuja here. And when I got back to school, I started making profit from it. Then the fashion was last year. I started last year before the corona started.
Okay.
Then I went through the whole stages of schooling, and I just ended last month.
Wow, yeah. Beautiful. Oh, just last year?
Yes.
Wow, I'm already doing so well. Well done.
Thank you.
So in what ways do you think the government can support people in your trade?
Okay. The government can support us whereby they help in promoting what we do.
Okay.
You know, a lot of people would want to use foreign brands because they feel foreign brands are better and of more quality than what we have here in Nigeria. So even when we as the entrepreneurs go out there to get the foreign brands, and you know they will be on a higher cost, on a higher price. So when you come and you now want to charge based on what you already have, they will start complaining. People would start undercharging you, which doesn't make any sense. Then in the aspect of what is the name, fashion designing, you know that most of the materials we use are being imported. So everyone wants foreign dresses, like dresses with brand names like Gucci and the rest of them. So government can help promote us, or can help us by doing all these runway shows, making sure people buy mainly Nigerian made products or locally made products, whereby helping us to go further. And then for the makeup, they can also help by promoting other makeup artists or other people who are ready to make their own cosmetics, to be able to produce it at a very low cost, but bring out something of quality for everyone to be able to afford it, and for people to makeup artists to also meet their target audience.
I think left to me, I think what you're even saying is on a very light note. I think left to me, what I would say is that the government should put a ban on foreign products.
Yeah, that's true.
So that locally produced products can thrive. You know, just like we see for what's happening for rice now. Most people, in short, for most people, foreign rice is almost outdated. So I think if the government can put a ban on
foreign products,
then our indigenous
brands
can thrive. Yes. Okay, so these things you talked about, are they things that you're passionate about, makeup and fashion? Are you passionate about them, or are they things that you just started because you wanted to make a living?
They are not. I'm very passionate about what I do. I wouldn't have gone into it if I didn't have passion for it. And let me say, for instance, the makeup. I know that when I was little, when my mom is doing her makeup and all that, at times, she even forgets to put her eyeshadow, I'm like, Mommy, you just bought this. You can put this, it will be fine. And when she finishes her makeup, it comes out good. And I grew up and I noticed that I started doing makeup myself. I could sketch dresses, do outfits, combine styles, and then wear them or even fit my younger ones, and they come out well. So that was how I knew that, okay,
you can do this.
Were the things I could do. These were the things I have passion for. So that was how I went into them.
Well, no, I asked that question not to judge you, because we have very harsh economic situation, and you have people who are passionate about stuff that maybe because they do not have the means, they now do something else that they can do while they try to pursue their dreams. So I didn't ask that question to judge you. It's just a Nigerian factor, actually. Okay, so looking back at the times when you started makeup and fashion, what would you say, has it been worth it?
It has actually been worth it.
Okay.
Because in the aspect of makeup, there's been a lot of ups and downs, but then you get to know your client base. You get to know people who you can actually work with. You know, you can't actually work with everyone. We're human. We have our different characters, our different temperaments and all that. So with that, I get to know that, okay, this is what I should do for this person. And I know that, yes, if I'm to make anything better in my makeup, in the makeup career, is I would actually want to go into SFX, that is special effects, which are basically used by the movie industries. So that I can do it for both Nigeria and outside the country. And I'm not just saying but my brand. Because I am seeing whereby it's not just me that will be in the picture. I would have other people working with me. And then it will go a long way. And then for the aspect of the fashion, I don't regret anything. It's been a good ride. When I started, before I ended my last class, I had already started getting customers. People had started bringing in their clothes, and I've been getting good compliments about the clothes from them and from other people who see them wear them. Wow, that's so beautiful. There's something I want to ask. There's this picture I keep seeing on Facebook. I don't know what it is. These ropes, long ropes. After the makeup session, there's these long ropes hanging on their eyes and on their lips. What is it? Those are basically editorial makeup. Or should I say editorial pictures. For, let's say, for instance, Vogue, or let's say, for instance, ACNN. You want to bring out a magazine for a particular, let's say, it has to do with, you come up with a topic, maybe let's say for instance what we're working on now,
Okay.
and you want to do something creative about it,
Okay.
and you just add some little spice to the makeup just to make it look.
Okay, because I was
Great.
wondering, I said, is this the latest fashion? What's happening?
No, makeup is just
long ropes
yeah.
are hanging from the eyelashes and from the lips.
It's what they are trying to portray.
Okay.
Yes, it's more like an editorial shoot they did for that. Yes.
Okay, now I understand. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
We are happy, and with what you're doing, you're inspiring other young women, and this is a point out to the fact that despite how difficult it might be, young women can stand up for themselves, make a living from what they are passionate about. So thank you for doing that. All right, so just before you go, the economic situation of our country is so harsh. The reality of the fact, the reality on ground is that it's so harsh. And so because of that, we have young girls go into prostitution, and then there are different names they call it. They call it runs, they call it whatever they call it, and but they are doing prostitution basically. What do you have to say to young girls who have left trying to dream, trying to do something they are passionate about, and they've just decided to sell their bodies to earn a living?
Okay, as you said, the economy is actually really hard. For me here, it hasn't been easy. At times I think of, okay, let me just give up and go and look for a job and all. But a lot of people have given up, like young girls that you mentioned, those who have decided to go into prostitution in different ways. I would like to advise them that it can never, like the worries of the world can never finish. It can only get better, or it can only get tougher. So it all depends on us. Let's say, for instance, what I'm doing or the line I'm in now, I would, if such situation comes up and I know such girls, I would like to advise them to go back to whatever it is they are doing. Because they don't have to look for that very big clients. Because from the little clients, they get to meet the big ones.
Yes.
So even if it means them starting with their neighbors, go back, start what you were doing and focus on it. Only diligence and prayer that would actually help us. So when they go back and then they seek God's face, first of all, and then they are diligent with what God has given them, He's ready to bless them. And then once they are ready to now start working, like starting small, because to start small makes a lot of difference than when you just want to start big. Because that's the problem. People always think that they have to make it very fast.
Yes, immediately.
Making it immediately. It doesn't work that way. So far you're not the last child, or you're not the child of the president. It doesn't work that way. You have to suffer, you have to grind, you have to pray, wake up at night, read your books, do your studies on how to be better at what you do. So it's just for them to come back, settle down, re-strategize, meet people who are into this, and then they put them on the right path. Even if it means you going back and working with someone who you know that is in the same line or career path as you are. So that is basically my advice to them, because the country is really hard on every single person.
Yeah, so true. Thank you so much. And I think something else that the government can also do as regards this is to try to reward virtues as against vices.
Yeah.
You have people doing some sort of reality TV shows and coming out, and they are getting sponsorship contracts from the government. And you have first-class students who have nothing to do. So I think one of the things that the government can also do is to reward hard work. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We are happy you came.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you to our lovely viewers for tuning in. All right, this is where we call it a day for today on the Youth Arena show. And so till we come your way, same time, same station next week, take deliberate steps to thrive. And whatsoever your hands find to do, do it well. We love you. Bye-bye.